Yo, trauma, I'm here, motherfucker. Wow. Almost 7 years of my life I spent looking for love through guys, and that wasn't the right. It's a work in progress, right? It's not something that is gonna happen overnight where you're gonna be like, boom, oh my god, my dad is not around. You have to ask yourself, do you need to walk away? The situation escalated and I had to pull the cops. I felt really uncomfortable telling my friends like, hey girl, hey, I just want to call you and tell you, yeah, my nigga is beating the shit out of me. Like, another trauma I've been through is being in a relationship where I was being abused physically. Wow. Being in a relationship where you're being abused physically, it's very hard to walk away. I'm not gonna lie, because most of the time you're freaking scared. Like, you're literally scared for your life. But you have to tell somebody, tell your mom. I definitely told my mom when I was being abused. I definitely told my mother. I didn't tell any of my friends because I felt really uncomfortable telling my friends like, hey girl, hey, I just want to call you and tell you, yeah, my nigga is beating the shit out of me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I definitely didn't do that. But I definitely did talk to my mom. But I did talk to people that I care about, that loved me, that kind of like guided me through the situation, kind of helped me. There were situations where there were times and situations where the situation escalated and I had to pull the cops. But you have to love you first. If somebody doesn't make you happy, they honestly genuinely doesn't make you happy, then you have to ask yourself, do you need to walk away? Whatever you gotta do, you gotta walk away. Whether that's a female abusing you or male abusing, there's all types of trauma, right? So we talked about like the different, you know, fathers and moms, and not having your dad around, and growing up homeless and going through all this and you're going through all that, you know, being sexually assaulted, being raped. We talked about all these, you know, I kind of gave you guys an example of what trauma looks like, right, for an average person. And now what I really want to talk about is how to address the trauma. So the first thing that you have to do specifically when you're dealing with trauma and it's specifically addressing the issue, the first thing that you have to do is actually say, listen, being the fact, and if I'm gonna give you an example, addressing the issue, being aware of your feelings and being aware of what's going on. Say to yourself, listen, my dad, and say to yourself, like, listen, my dad is not around and it really affects me and I'm hurt and I want him to be around, but there's nothing that I can do about it but be happy. The first thing to do is to just be aware. That, honestly, that's the first thing, just to be aware. That's so big. For you to be aware that you're dealing with something and this thing is killing you inside every day, that's absolutely the first thing that you have to do. Once you are now, like, basically once you're aware of the situation, you're like, okay, boom, I'm going through this, all right, this is what I'm dealing with. It makes me feel, okay, fine. It makes you feel, you know, it hurts you, it doesn't make you feel good, it makes you feel angry, you want to cry, whatever the situation may be. Then after now that you address the situation and you basically express to yourself, not expressing this to nobody else, you're expressing to yourself how you feel about the situation. Now what you're going to go do, you're going to try to be happy. Still be happy, still find things to be happy about. You're alive. And I know you're probably thinking like, listen, you don't understand. No, trust me, I understand. I absolutely understand what you're going through, but you have to move forward. We were not put here on this earth to be sad and live in a negative, live a negative life all the time. If you continue to not ever address your trauma and you continue to kind of just like ignore it, like, oh, it's not there, you have to address it. One thing I can tell you guys is that it's a work in progress, right? It's not something that is gonna happen overnight where you're gonna be like, boom, oh my god, my dad is not around and, you know, I feel like shit because he's not around, and then, you know, you're gonna friggin' meditate and then tomorrow you're gonna feel better. No, it doesn't work like that. Every day you have to work on it. It's a work in progress. It's a work in progress. There are people, I've known people over 50 years old, over 40 years old, that still deals with trauma to this day. Do you know that our parents deal with trauma? Our parents been through stuff that affects your parents, and now it affects you, and if you do the same thing, it's going to affect your child. That's why we have to know how to deal with trauma. So the first thing you have to do is be aware of what you're dealing with. Actually be honest with yourself. Talk about it with yourself. Talk about it with somebody else that you trust, not anybody, somebody that you trust. Listen, if you want to go to counseling, it's okay to go to counseling. There's nothing wrong with counseling to address your trauma. Other than going to counseling, like I said, addressing the trauma, speaking to somebody, and just being happy. Be happy. Like, you still have life to live, right? So that was pretty much my video on trauma, guys. I'm going to be doing another a part 2 on trauma, where, like I said, this video specifically was just me talking about trauma and what trauma looks like. And that's pretty much it, guys. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in today to talk to me about trauma. And I'm just here to tell you that you're not alone in anything that you do. You're not alone in this world. You guys can always add me on Instagram, add me on my personal Snapchat. You guys can always reach out to me via email. Like, I'm willing to talk to you guys. Like, I have no problem doing that. I'm a normal person just like you. I'm no different than you. Like, I grew up without my dad around, and that shit literally fucked me up. Being the fact that my dad wasn't around fucked me up, and it fucked me up to the point that when I went almost 7 years of my life I spent looking for love through guys, and that wasn't the right thing to do, you know. I would definitely say being able to cope with it, because not a lot of people could cope with trauma. Being able to cope with the fact that you're dealing with something terrible and it hurts you, and it hurts like hell. Trust me, I believe you. I know it hurts like hell, and it hurts you so much, and you probably feel like, listen, I don't want to be here, but I'm here to tell you, baby, you gotta find more to live for. Life is not just sad. I have had so many happy moments in my life. I had so many amazing happy moments, despite the fact that my dad wasn't around. And my trauma is that I'll never ever in my life, unfortunately, be able to meet my dad, because he's deceased, unfortunately. But I do have an amazing mother that I do love to this day. But you know, it's hard, and it's still something that I deal with. And even now, like, I'm friggin' talking about this shit, and this shit is friggin' tearing me up, bro. But I just want to tell you guys that it's okay. It's okay to feel how you're feeling. There's nothing wrong. You need to get it out. Get that shit out. Whatever you feeling right now, get it out. Don't punch. Listen, if you gotta punch a punching bag, you gotta cry out on the pillow, it's nice that I sat up and cried. Whatever you gotta do, get it out. Get it out. Get it out your system. Don't hold on to it. Do not squeeze and continue to hold on to that trauma. Let it go. Let the trauma go. I know, like, I literally know it's way hard, way more harder than I'm saying, but guess what, it's not way harder. You just have to focus on being happy, actually do things that make you happy, and it's a work in progress. Every day you'll start to get better. Every single day you'll start to get better. That's what I did. I'm no different than you guys. I don't have, I'm just like you. We're no different. I just want to talk about trauma because it does affect our society as a whole, and specifically minorities, because so many guys end up in jail and end up, even we talk about jail and gangs that end up turning to the streets because there's no father figure in the house. The family's broken up. Even young men these days, like, they don't want to keep the family together. People want to, it's like there's no code, right? There's no honor in friendship. There's no honor in code. There's no honor in family. It's like you just out here living for yourself. But I'm out here, and I'm here to tell you that not everybody is like that. I'm here to tell you, live life how you are meant to live life. You are a beautiful soul, and don't allow whatever situation you've been or your situation that you're going through to define who you are, because your trauma defines you. Allow your trauma to shine through bright and say, you know what, bitches, I'm here. Tell trauma, I'm here, motherfucker. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'm out. I love you guys, and I'll see you on my next video. Mwah.